So the story starts with the end of the world. One day, the gates opened, dragons and monsters poured in, cities turned to dust. Human civilization became a punchline, crumbling at the slightest touch. But in that endless despair, a few people awakened. They became players, humanity's last line of defense. And among these heroes, there was one man who became a legend. Hyanuk Lee. He started as an F-class nobody, but fought his way to the top to become the Steel Emperor, the last savior of humanity. Yeah, about that. He died. And just when you think the story's over, he opens his eyes and finds himself back. Back in the one place he'd rather die than return to, the military. The last savior of humanity? My ass. That's right, our boy, the Steel Emperor, Hyanuk Lee, has been reborn. But this isn't some OP protagonist fantasy. It's a hard mode playthrough of military life. From savior of the world to a lowly corporal, talk about a downgrade. But make no mistake, he's not here to serve his country again. Others see a scruffy, zoned-out soldier, but nobody knows a vengeful soul is awakening inside this shell. His power is back, too, albeit reset to level 0. He gets stronger by eating metal. And right now, this entire military base is starting to look like a giant, all-you-can-eat buffet. Being a grunt obviously sucks, but why is he so pissed off? Because his death wasn't a blaze of glory. On that day, he watched the very world he fought to protect fall apart before his eyes, drowning in a river of blood. And the most ironic part? It wasn't the monsters who destroyed humanity. It was his own comrades, the other players. A bunch of hypocrites calling themselves divine beings gave him the final, treacherous blow. If only I had known how to get stronger just one day sooner. As he lay dying, all that was left was endless regret. That man, Gordon Precy, stepped on his head, mocking him like he was an ant. Don't get your hopes up. In the end, all you incompetent F-class losers would have met the same fate. That face, that humiliation, he would never forget it. Gordon Precy. But now he really has come back. Abilities reset? Fine. His memories are his ultimate cheat code. Okay, I get it. I'll start from basic training and take back everything that was stolen from me, one step at a time. He grits his teeth, swallowing his pride and the nutrients for his growth. But the question remains, why the hell did it have to be the army? Boring roll calls, terrible food, and endless drills. For a king who's fought in apocalyptic battles, all of this feels both ridiculous and infuriating. What's worse, the F-class label follows him everywhere. Even here, he's still the guy everyone looks down on. The hazing from seniors, the mockery from his peers, it's like his past life's nightmare on repeat. But this time, he's not the same rookie who just takes it. He starts showing a bit of his edge, pushing back just enough to make the bully stumble. This subtle change starts to get noticed by a few. This Corporal Lee, he seems different from before. He chooses to lay low for now, acting alone. He needs time, needs a quiet place to execute his all-you-can-eat steel plan. His squad mates just think he's acting weird today, completely unaware that a storm is brewing. If I cause any trouble and get tied up in the army, it'll be a disaster. While suppressing his burning rage, he quietly and systematically consumes every piece of metal he can find. Spoons, shell casings. Every gram absorbed is one step closer to his revenge. But this amount is practically nothing. An empty casing is 1 gram, and a spoon is only 1.25 grams? At this rate, it'll take forever to get back to my past life's power level. He needs bigger, more nutritious ingredients. And his chance is coming. According to his memories, in 4 days, a gate is scheduled to open near the base. That was where he first encountered Man of Steel, the true starting point of his rise. This time, I have to be perfectly prepared. 3 days later, night watch. The air is thick with unease. His power has grown significantly, but it's still just the tip of the iceberg. He senses it keenly. Something is coming. Junmo, do you trust me? Right before the crisis hits, he probes the only comrade by his side. This isn't a request for trust. It's a life or death warning. Because he knows what's coming next will turn this place into a hunting ground. The words barely left his mouth when the monsters appeared. Goblins, the vanguard from a gate. For regular soldiers, this is the beginning of a nightmare. But for Hyanuk Lee, this is the dinner bell. In his past life, he barely survived this ambush, a complete mess. But this time, he's the hunter, and these monsters are his prey. I never expected to be so happy to see you guys. I waited 3 whole days for this. With a cruel smile, he steps forward to meet them. The first appetizer of his revenge has just been served. His movements are lightning fast, his strength far beyond the limits of a normal soldier. The combat experience he accumulated in his past life has turned him into a precision killing machine. The goblins don't even have time to react before they're cut down like weeds. Oh wow. Looking at the bodies strewn across the ground, he's a little surprised himself. Looks like I'm still pretty weak right now. He's not being ironic. He's being honest. Because he knows the main course is yet to come. He snatches a weapon dropped by a goblin, one made of mana steel. Without a second of hesitation, he devours it. Right, the stinky taste. Mana steel. This is the real nourishment he needs, the source of power that will let him grow exponentially. The system notification chimes as power surges through his veins. He pulls out his bayonet, feeling the brand new strength. A wide grin spreads across his face, his eyes glinting with excitement. Now, then, let the feast begin. Meanwhile, his comrade Junmo was left behind at the guard post. Hyanuk told him he could sense unseen metals moving and was going to check it out. Junmo freaked out. How could an F-class possibly have an ability like that? Report it to the higher-ups? Who would even believe him? Hyanuk's plan was simple. He'd act as the bait and the main force, while Junmo held the post and reported at the critical moment. It was the only way. He turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving only a confident silhouette behind. And then, the gate opened wide before him, unleashing the full goblin horde. This time, he holds nothing back. The metal within his body is mobilized, forged into deadly weapons. He's like a starving wolf charging into a flock of sheep, initiating a one-sided slaughter. This isn't a battle anymore. It's a hunt. It's a feast. The rain pours down, mixing blood with mud. Hyanuk weaves through the horde, every strike precise and lethal. His fighting style, a blend of his past life's techniques and this life's ferocity, makes these mindless killing machines feel fear for the first time. That's it. Keep screaming. Louder. He savors the enemy's cries. To him, they're the overture to his revenge. He's making sure all his enemies understand. The Steel Emperor is back, and he's hungrier and crazier than ever before. He's like an unstoppable steel tornado, leaving a trail of carnage wherever he goes. He's not just using weapons. He's using every part of his body. His arms, his legs, his knees, all hardened like steel, every impact powerful enough to shatter bone. I've been betrayed and backstabbed once before, so you'd all better remember this. If one more bastard tries to attack me from behind, he stands on a corpse, his cold gaze sweeping over the trembling monsters around him. I'm going to devour you all alive. Fear works. These low-intelligence creatures are terrified, too scared to approach. Hyanuk knows it's time to bring out the main dish. He can feel stronger entities lurking in the shadows. Two ominous figures appear at the edge of the battlefield. Goblin shamans, the leaders of this horde. They're far more cunning and powerful than the average goblin. One of them is preparing a sneak attack. Want to try a sample. Little does it know, it's the one about to be served up on a platter. All right, the prey's taken the bait. Hurry up and expose yourself. Hyanuk intentionally reveals an opening. The shaman instantly attacks, massive chunks of earth erupting from the ground, shaking the entire area. The tremors even reach the base, shaking sleeping soldiers awake. They thought it was just an earthquake, completely clueless that the battlefield outside had turned into the set of a monster movie. The shaman, thinking its plan had succeeded, rushes out with a maniacal laugh. I found you now. But what it sees is Hyanuk's mocking face. That was a fake shot, you douchebag. Hyanuk's figure vanishes in a flash. The next second, the bayonet he's controlling has already pierced through the shaman's back. A perfect read, a perfect trap. But the shaman doesn't go down that easily. It actually catches Hyanuk's bayonet with its mouth. This is ridiculous. Grabbing my bayonet. Hyanuk laughs, a bit self-deprecatingly. I must have really been a loser in the past. To think that even trash like this dares to challenge him. Hyanuk's rage is ignited. Don't whine about a little scratch, when you guys used to gang up on me. He leaps from above. This time, I'm going to tear you all to shreds. But just then, the system sends a warning. His mana is rapidly depleting. The battle is more draining than he expected. And to make matters worse, something's happened to Junmo. He's been captured by the shaman's allies. Junmo, for the first time, a flicker of panic crosses Hyanuk's face. Revenge is important, but he can't just watch an innocent person die because of him. He has to divert his attention to save Junmo, giving the shaman a golden opportunity. The monster descends from the sky, crashing down with immense force. Junmo screams in despair. Get down. A chaotic brawl erupts. Hyanuk has to protect Junmo while fighting the empowered shaman. His mana is bottoming out, and his body is hitting its limit. This is the first real crisis he's faced since his rebirth. In the middle of the fight, gunshots echo from within the base. The situation is getting more complicated. A gate has appeared inside the base. A full-scale goblin invasion is underway. This is Gar Post 5. A gate has appeared within the base. I repeat, a gate has appeared within the base. Monster type confirmed as goblins. The calls over the radio are frantic and overlapping. The entire base has descended into chaos. The rapid deployment force is mobilized as alarms blare through the night. Listening to the commands on the radio, Hyanuk's expression becomes incredibly grave. He knows this is the true main event of the night. Leading the charge is First Lieutenant Yunisio, a powerful paladin. Her appearance means the military's top brass is now involved. More importantly, Hyanuk knows that inside the gate she's guarding lies the one thing he's been dreaming of. The legendary item, adamantium. That was the ultimate ingredient that allowed him to become the Steel Emperor in his past life. He cannot miss this chance. If I miss my chance to get it now, my life will be no different from my past. He must be the first one to eat it. At the same time, another outpost, Guard Post 6, is under heavy assault. The defensive forces there are weak, and they're quickly being overwhelmed by goblins. Hyanuk's comrade, Junmo, wants to go provide support, but is stopped by a superior. You incompetent F-class losers will just be cannon fodder. Hyanuk has heard those words too many times. But this time, he's going to prove that even an F-class can defy fate. You stay here. I'll go check and be right back. Hyanuk gives Junmo his orders and then charges toward Guard Post 6 alone. He's not going there to die. He's going there to harvest. To harvest experience, to harvest mana steel, and to harvest the dropped jaws of everyone who ever looked down on him. Guard Post 6 has already become a living hell. The soldiers are surrounded by the goblin army. Their defenses are crumbling, and a sense of despair is spreading. We're all going to die here. Just then, a massive crash. A figure descends from the sky, smashing through the outpost's roof and shattering the goblin's formation. It's Hyanuk. He's here. The boss monster, a gigantic goblin, grins maliciously at the surviving soldiers as if looking at a meal. But its smile quickly fades because it sees the undisguised appetite in Hyanuk's eyes. Hyanuk wastes no time with words. He uses the radio to command remotely, telling a rookie crossbowman to aim at the light from a flare. Light? What light? The rookie is confused. Hyanuk can't be bothered to explain. What he's about to do is take control of everything. All you need to do is aim. I'll control the trigger. Using his metal manipulation ability, he takes control of the crossbowman's weapon from a distance. This move leaves everyone on site completely stunned. What? The trigger is moving on its own. The rookie screams in terror. A flaming crossbow bolt streaks through the night sky, accurately striking the goblin boss. A perfect shot, straight through the heart. It hit. Not only did that shot save his mana, but its destructive power was a huge bonus. The boss monster collapses. In a single moment, he has single-handedly turned the tide of the entire battle. Hyanuk's performance continues. Using the same method, he remotely detonates the core of another boss monster. The massive explosion rocks the battlefield once again. He's like a phantom commander, directing the battle from afar. The soldiers he's remote controlling become his pawns, precisely executing his kill orders. Corporal Lee said he'd only distract them, but this is more like him finishing off the gate all by himself. The surviving soldiers look at the carnage, their worldview completely shattered. After cleaning up the perimeter, Hyanuk finally confronts the shaman head-on. Having consumed a massive amount of mana steel, his power is on a completely different level. He easily parries every one of the shaman's attacks before retaliating with even greater ferocity. Is he really Corporal Lee? The rookie watches from a distance, completely dumbfounded. The man on the battlefield, fighting like a war god, can't possibly be the same lazy F-class soldier he remembers. But the high-intensity combat has drained his mana again. 12%. He needs to end this, and fast. He deliberately creates an opening, using himself as bait to lure the goblin shaman in. It's checkmate. At the exact moment the shaman thinks it has him, Hyanuk unleashes his fatal blow. It's not just a physical attack. It's a detonation of all the metal he controls inside it. A high-stakes gamble. He used the act of saving Junmo as a feint to complete his final setup. The shaman is blown to pieces. Well then, bon appetit. He smirks, watching his enemy turn to ash according to his plan. However, the mana warning blares again. 9%. He's running on empty. And the true boss, a monster that can evolve by eating steel, has only just made its appearance. Steel. Watching the monster devour bullets and grow stronger, Hyanuk feels a sense of real trouble for the first time. This is his ability, and now it's being used as a weapon against him. Mana at 4%, 3%, 2%. He's been pushed into a corner. Every attack from a monster brings him one step closer to death. Mana remaining, 1%. He can no longer maintain his steel physique. In the final moment, he drops all defense, focusing his last ounce of power into a single point for a suicidal charge. Enough of this, just let me eat. Mana, 0%. He collapses. But just then, a holy light illuminates the distant sky. The rapid deployment force has arrived. The holy light reveals the gate's core, and the piece of adamantium floating in the air. Hyanuk uses his last shred of strength to dash toward the crystal. Come out already. He yanks it from the ground, and, just as soldiers surround him, shoves it into his mouth. Hands up! Don't move! The soldiers yell. Lieutenant Yunhaseo stares at the field of monster corpses, utterly shocked. This was the work of a single person? The moment he swallows the adamantium, system notifications flood his vision. Congratulations! You have consumed a legendary item. Congratulations! You have unlocked a rare ability. All metal detection. He's laughing in a situation like this. Yunhaseo thinks he's insane. But in the next second, Hyanuk uses his new ability to pinpoint the fleeing goblins. 2 goblins near guard post 6 are running away. With a single sentence, he transforms from a suspect into a vital intelligence source. Hyanuk knows the game has only just begun. He's not just here for revenge. He's going to survive in this damn army and thrive. After the battle, rumors fly around the base. An F-class corporal wiped out a goblin horde all by himself. The story sounds more ridiculous than a B-movie. But the evidence is undeniable, and that's making some people very unhappy. Like Sergeant O, who's always had it in for him. He's convinced Hyanuk just got lucky, and that this kind of undisciplined hero will ruin military discipline and must be suppressed. And so, an interrogation targeting Hyanuk begins. The battalion commander, the paladin Yunhaseo, the warp mage Minhee Lee, a whole room full of big shots. Looking at this lineup, you'd think they were putting the final boss on trial. Faced with their questions, Hyanuk remains calm. I was simply following the anti-monster tactical manual. He credits his success to the one officer he truly respects, Captain Gangsi Kim, a true soldier who never gave up, even as an F-class. No matter how low a player's rank is, as long as they follow the manual, they can fight monsters. He quotes Captain Kim's famous line, not only defusing the crisis, but also taking a jab at everyone who looks down on F-class players. His words even move Captain Kim, reminding him of all the prejudice he faced as an F-class. He decides to protect Hyanuk. But in exchange, Hyanuk must accept a special kind of training. Meanwhile, the process of digesting the adamantium is finally complete. The system chimes once more. Congratulations, you have acquired a new skill, Steel Physique. This skill allows him to turn parts of his body into steel, a god-tier ability for both offense and defense. More importantly, it can be leveled up by consuming high-grade metals. Hyanuk's power has just taken a quantum leap. However, before he can celebrate for long, his training arrives. Sergeant O has brought in the unit's ace, a barbarian-class player known as the Next Ace, Won-Sok Lee, to instruct him. This isn't instruction. It's a beatdown waiting to happen. In the gym, Won-Sok provokes and humiliates Hyanuk in every way possible, trying to force his hand. Everyone around them is just watching the show. A celebrity like you is only lifting this much? You're an embarrassment to the unit. Won-Sok's taunts become more and more aggressive. Hyanuk keeps his head down, and no one sees the cold glint in his eyes. If I avoid him now, the bullying will only worsen, just like in the past. Hyanuk remembers his past life. He's had enough. This time, he'll make the first move. He challenges Won-Sok. The news spreads through the base like wildfire. Come out and see. That F-class corporal is going to fight the Next Ace. A highly anticipated showdown is about to begin. Perfect. Let's see what I can learn from you. Hyanuk licks his lips. The learning he's talking about isn't fighting techniques, of course. It's about all that Metal Gear Won-Sok is wearing. Inside the octagon, the duel begins. Everyone expects a one-sided beatdown. And at first, it is. Won-Sok's attacks are powerful and heavy, and Hyanuk is forced onto the defensive. A tactical instructor has also come to watch, drawn by Won-Sok's barbarian attribute. He wants to see just how far this future ace can go. However, the tide of the battle soon takes a bizarre turn. Won-Sok finds his body growing heavier and heavier, his movements becoming sluggish. What the heck is happening? He has no idea that Hyanuk is secretly manipulating the metal in his combat boots, increasing his load. A clever application of his new ability. Each of his blows is powerful, but what's the point if he can't even land a hit? The instructor also notices something is off. Won-Sok has the power, but under Hyanuk's control of the fight's tempo, he looks like a clown. Sergeant O can't stand watching anymore and yells for Wonsok to get serious. Enraged, Wonsok finally snaps, activating his berserker mode, massively boosting his strength and speed. Body strengthening, Hyanuk grins. This is no longer a sparring match. It's a fight to the death. This is exactly what he wanted. The berserk Wonsok is like an angry buffalo, while Hyanuk is a leopard waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The instructor watches with excitement. If you're a real beast, you'll go for the throat now. Wonsok unleashes his strongest attack, intending to crush Hyanuk completely. But what he hits feels like steel. It feels like hitting a steel plate with my bare fist. He realizes in horror that Hyanuk's abdomen has become harder than steel itself. Steel physique, a skill that turns a part of my body into steel. Hyanuk reveals a victorious smile. This trump card was the reason he had the guts to challenge the ace. F*****KU. Hyanuk flips him the bird, taunting his opponent in the most direct way possible. Then, in the instant Wonsok loses his cool to rage, he launches his counterattack. A steel-like side kick straight to the face. Wonsok goes down unconscious. The entire crowd falls silent. For a brat who only relies on strength, this is your limit. Hyanuk looks down at the loser at his feet, his eyes cold. In the distance, the instructor breaks into an excited grin. He's finally showing his fangs. This is just the beginning. He's going to make everyone understand that F-class doesn't mean trash. And he, Hyanuk Lee, will devour his way back to the top, right here in this military camp, until he reigns supreme once more. You thought knocking out one loudmouth was the end of it? Goo. Our boy Hyanuk walks from 1B down right into a boss fight. His new opponent? A D-class physical enhancement user built like a grizzly bear. Not 3 seconds in, Hyanuk is sent flying from a brutal kick, looking like a ragdoll. But check out those eyes. No fear, just burning fury and calculation. A flying armbar. Before the crowd's shock could even register, the tables have turned. Mid-air, Hyanuk twists his body at an impossible angle, locking onto his opponent's arm. This ain't some rookie move. This is pure, ingrained combat instinct. Brute force? Please. Against absolute technique, it's just a liability. You think you can break my arm with that? The giant bellows, muscles bulging to brute force his way out. Even the instructors are stunned. An armbar should never work on someone with physical enhancement. But our guy wasn't playing that game. He shifts his grip, not targeting the arm, but my little finger. A scream rips through the training ground. That's right, bro. Why break a steel beam when you can snap the bolt holding in place? With the advantage seized, he flows like water. Hyanuk clings to his opponent, his hands locking onto the carotid artery. A carotid compression has nothing to do with muscle strength. One of the instructors realizes, his eyes gleaming. This kid, he's a natural-born predator, always finding the fatal flaw. And inside Hyanuk's mind, a single thought echoes. Rip this apart using my strength. He activates steel physique, and the system itself throws up a warning flag. Excessive use beyond the threshold can harm the caster's body. But Hyanuk? He doesn't give a damn. He's forcing out power far beyond his limits. His arms creak under the strain, but the grin on his face only gets wider, more vicious. He doesn't just want to win. He wants to dominate. Am I really going to lose to a loser like him? The giant's pride is shattering. To be dominated by an F-class in front of everyone. It's a fate worse than death. It's not just a choke he's feeling, but a deep, soul-crushing humiliation. How could this be happening to me? I'm the next ace. In a final, desperate explosion of shame and rage, the giant unleashes everything. His uniform rips as his muscles expand, raw power flooding the arena. It's a classic berserker move, trading sanity for strength. But in Hyanuk's eyes, this final struggle is nothing more than the final course. Impressive. A D-class burning his life force just to break free. The instructor comments with a cold smile. The berserker's power is terrifying, sure, but the look in Hyanuk's eyes? It's even more monstrous. The very instant his opponent's power peaks, Asterisk crash. Asterisk the hulking giant is slammed into the wall like a cannonball. Out cold. Silence. Absolute dead silence. Everyone is completely floored by the impossible scene they just witnessed. The instructor clenches his fist, his heart pounding. That guy is a real beast. He knows it right then and there. He's just unearthed a diamond. A monster that could shake the very foundations of the military. The fight is over. Medics confirm the unlucky bastard is just unconscious, and a collective sigh of relief ripples through the crowd. And our protagonist? He stands up as if he just finished a light jog, walks directly to the one instructor who looked thrilled the whole time, and snaps a perfect salute. Salute. I'm Myongo Chion, tactical instructor for the Black Tiger Task Force. The instructor holds out a black card. Hi, Anouk Lee. As of today, you're a member. Gasps erupt from the soldiers nearby. Class is just a standard set by ordinary people. And deep inside Hyunuk, the ghost of vengeance finally smiles. Such a meteoric rise is bound to attract jealousy. Hyunuk can feel the hostile glares from all around, but he couldn't care less. He's focused on one thing and one thing only, getting stronger and getting revenge. The Black Tiger unit? It's just another stepping stone in his master plan. Meanwhile, in the battalion commander's office, two bigwigs are having tea. The Black Tiger unit has been lacking real talent lately. Tell me about it. Every promising C-class gets poached by the guilds. But I hear you went down to the field yourself. That's right. It was because of that brat, Yongjin Choi. But he's currently on leave. Myongo Chion, the instructor in the green beret, flashes a foxy grin. He stares at his reflection in the tea, as if gazing into the future. And thanks to that, I found an interesting soldier. An interesting soldier? The other officer, the battalion commander himself, raises an eyebrow. His scarred face wrinkles in thought. For someone to be called interesting by Myongo Chion, they had to be something special. A storm centered around Hyunuk is quietly brewing among the top brass. But for Hyunuk, life at the center of the storm is hell. The elite unit's training is brutal, pushing him to his absolute limit every single day. Corporal Lee, please teach me how to get strong. A new recruit begs, clinging to him. Hyunuk just snarls back. Get lost. Can't you see I'm miserable enough as it is? From the shadows, a cold laugh echoes. Oh, fine. Go ahead and take care of Corporal Lee that way. A silhouette stands by a window, watching everything unfold. This is purely your fault for making others greedy. It seems Hyunuk's rise to prominence has upset someone's carefully laid plans. And now, a change of scenery. Itaewon Seoul, a bustling night market, full of life. Everything is so peaceful, it's almost boring. A little boy suddenly points to an alleyway, shouting with excitement, "Look, a monkey!" But that's no monkey. It has a crimson sigil on its forehead, and its yellow eyes glow with a malevolent light. Wait, you're not a monkey? Before the boy can finish, a blue vortex opens in the alley, and countless grotesque monsters pour out. Hyunuk jolts awake, drenched in sweat. A dream? No, a memory of the future. The next day, Hyunuk is called to the armory to claim his reward. The battalion commander has granted him leave and a new weapon. A red-haired female officer greets him, her eyes filled with scrutiny and doubt. All the sword marks on the goblins near the gate were identical. That means you stopped the first wave. Single-handedly, the female officer is clearly skeptical. Hyunuk doesn't bother explaining. He walks over to the weapon rack and casually picks up a plain-looking wooden sword. Don't just pick anything because I pressured you, she warns. But the item information panel tells a different story. Item information name, Cloud Sword. Effect, absorbs water and releases water fog. This is no ordinary wooden sword. This is the legendary blade of the Cloud God, the hand of the Cloud God. Its true power is to command lightning itself. The synergy of steel and lightning is unrivaled. Hyunuk grips the sword, a confident smile spreading across his face. With this, his plan for revenge just got a major speed boost. There's no more time for me to be picky. Hyunuk's gaze sharpens. Before the officer can respond, a piercing alarm blares through the entire base. Emergency! All personnel! A gate breakout in Itaewon. A torrential downpour begins, as if playing a prelude to the coming slaughter. As the alarms wail, everyone scrambles in a panic. Everyone except Hyunuk. He's unnaturally calm. The red-haired officer watches him, her suspicion growing stronger. He doesn't seem surprised, and he seems too calm, as if he was expecting it. Outside the base, an elite unit called the Blue Flower Guild has already assembled. Clad in silver armor, wielding long spears, their gear is absurdly high-end. The regular soldiers can only watch in awe. If I could join them after I'm discharged, I'd be set for life. In stark contrast, Hyunuk's squad is just a support unit, poorly equipped. As acting squad leader, he gives a serious pre-battle briefing, this time at the Cobalt Gate. They primarily use poison. Get your gas masks on. This is not a drill. Do you want to keep your eyes? Or do you want them pulled out by the kobolds? But there's always one guy who has to be a problem. T-Siege, listen to Mr. Loser Squad Commander acting all high and mighty. A soldier named Jinchel scoffs. Hyunuk, I'll handle myself. This is the military for you. Even with monsters at the door, the internal bullying and disrespect never stops. Everyone, get a hold of yourselves. Hyunuk finally snaps, his roar silencing the entire squad. That's not the first time we've heard that crap, is it? Right now, we're facing a real-life situation where our lives are at stake. Don't get discouraged. Under his intense pressure, the one sloppy squad finally responds in unison. Yes, SIR. Having quelled the internal dissent for now, Hyanuk begins issuing orders, having his team install motion sensors in the sewers and narrow passages. Don't you think Corporal Lee is a bit on edge today? Yeah, he's unusually serious. The soldiers whisper among themselves. They have no idea that Hyanuk's edge comes from having already witnessed the gruesome future where every single one of them dies. For a split second, memories of his past life flood his mind. Jinchul, the same guy who mocked him, impaled by a kobold sneak attack, dying with his eyes wide open. The main assault force, caught off guard by poison gas bombs, falls into chaos. Kobolds swarm from every direction, turning what was supposed to be a straightforward raid into a one-sided slaughter. And him, pinned under the foot of an elite kobold chieftain, completely helpless, forced to watch as his comrades fell one by one. Corporal Lee, are you okay? A soldier named Junmo rushes over to save him. He was the only one who truly cared. June, M.O., run. He rasped with his last breath, but it was too late. In the act of saving him, Junmo's arm was severed by the chieftain's blade, and he was brutally killed right before Hyanuk's eyes. No. Hyanuk snaps back from the agonizing memory, his jaw clenched tight. The report that the sensors are installed pulls him back to reality. Junmo was killed by kobolds while trying to save me. This bone-deep regret is the driving force behind his second chance at life. Junmo, listen to me. Hyanuk's voice is cold and firm. When I give you the signal, take the entire squad and evacuate the operation area. Huh, isn't that armed desertion? Junmo asks, his face pale with shock. No, a glint of madness and absolute confidence shines in Hyanuk's eyes. It's a tactic. This time, he won't let anyone die. He's going to face this hell alone. Meanwhile, the main strike platoon storms the kobold nest. They advance in a standard magic formation, ready to clear out the enemy with textbook precision. But they quickly realize something is wrong. The number of kobolds in the nest is far greater than estimated, and they're highly organized, as if waiting to spring a trap. Fire! The commander orders, and flamethrowers instantly incinerate the front line of kobolds. But this doesn't deter the monsters. It only fuels their ferocious onslaught. While the main force is bogged down in a desperate fight, Hyanuk's squad is busy executing his tactic in the rear, attaching motion sensors all the way to the back of the sewer. This is the critical first step of his real plan. Hyanuk rips up the official field manual. He's fighting this war his way. We're attaching motion sensors as per the field manual and marking the respective locations with aluminum tape. He explains to the red-haired officer who just arrived. Her only response is a cold, dismissive, "What a joke." This officer is Captain Minhee Lee, a C-class mage. She scoffs at the high level of alert for this mission. It's just a kobold gate. Even the Blue Flower Guild is here. This is a massive overreaction. She has no idea what kind of disaster is about to unfold. Captain Lee's arrogance infuriates another officer, and they start arguing on the spot. Hyanuk, meanwhile, is stopped by a Staff Sergeant Siona Choi. "Sir, is something wrong?" The C-class healer has keenly sensed the unusual tension in the air. "It's nothing." Hyanuk brushes it off, but his strange behavior has already drawn attention. Just then, a messenger runs up. The battalion commander has called for Corporal Hyanuk Lee. Referring to me? Hyanuk is taken aback. At this critical moment, why would the commander summon him? He looks toward the command vehicle in the distance, a sense of unease creeping in. From a high vantage point, the assault platoon under the commander's direct control is monitoring the battlefield. What on earth is the battalion commander thinking, sending us on a kobold raid? They're just as confused about this deployment as everyone else. Hyanuk arrives at the mobile command center and comes face to face with the man with the scar, the battalion commander. "Salute. Corporal Hyanuk Lee. I was informed that you summoned me. The first squad has taken heavy losses. You will act as temporary squad leader and carry out the second strike on the gate." The commander's order is direct and absolute. Hyanuk is inwardly shocked. He never paid me an ounce of attention in my previous life. This is a test and an opportunity. Captain Minhee Lee immediately protests. This is playing with the lives of our soldiers. But the commander's reply is ice cold. It's an order. Just then, the worst possible news crackles over the comms. Delta reporting. The boss monster has escaped from the kobold nest. It's all happening exactly as he remembers. Hyanuk makes one last attempt to change their fate. "Sir, I have something to say. If we don't fall back, we'll be wiped out." The commander just looks at him impassively. "Speak." But he's out of time for speaking. The lookouts on high cry out in alarm. Without another moment of hesitation, Hyanuk turns and bolts. Support squad. Gas! He screams at the top of his lungs, running towards the rear. Too late. A massive explosion erupts. The green gas bomb detonates right in the center of the support squad's position. History, it seems, is repeating itself with cruel precision. Damn it! Hyanuk roars, watching helplessly as the poison gas spreads, consuming his comrades. The same scene, the same despair. But no, this time, something is different.